I think it's working. I wonder if the stream is behind. Okay, it's not too far behind. It's like maybe a couple of seconds, which is not bad, but welcome back, guys. It is 2020, and we're getting the stream set up. Hold on, let me just move this to the bottom while we talk. Come on, work with me here. Work with me. Hey there, look at that. Perfect. Working perfectly. So good. Welcome back, guys. We will start in about 16 minutes, but for now, we are just getting set up. Trying to make sure everything is working properly. I think OBS Streamlabs did a lot of new things with its functionality, and I'm trying to make sure it's all there. The last time I did this, it was a little wonky because some stuff happened, but I think it should be good. I think it should be good. Yeah. It's pretty quick. It's not bad. I think the lag is only about a couple seconds, but for now, I think it's pretty good. Pretty good. Let me know if you can hear everything. Let me know if you have any issues with it. I'm just going to send out a text saying stream is up. All right, so we have a couple minutes before we start, which is fine. Where my YouTube one go? Hey, what's up, guys? What is up? Happy New Year's to everyone. Boom, look at that. I'm gonna be talking about this stuff tonight. We're gonna be talking about Jurassic Park for the month of January, which is kind of I'm kind of excited about that, to be honest. Hold on, I'm gonna hide all of this so that you guys don't. I don't want to spoil it quite yet. Boom. But we're gonna be talking about Jurassic Park for the month of January because I love Jurassic Park. I think old school Steven Spielberg, E.T., Indiana Jones, Steven Spielberg was an amazing cinematographer and director. There is so much to go over with Jurassic Park and his other films that I actually want to take time and explore them. That is something that I actually enjoy a lot. I was actually sitting down and kind of like watching the films for inspiration. So Jurassic Park is first up just because solid film. It holds up so well even now. Like, I can watch that movie start to finish, no problem. There's nothing about it that I dislike. There are things that I found over the years that could improve upon, but overall, it's a solid movie, and we'll be talking about that tonight. And maybe for February, we can come up with a new movie. I was thinking something like Francis Ford Coppola, maybe, what's his name? Martin Scorsese, perhaps. But for tonight and the month of January, we're going to be doing Jurassic Park. So hopefully you guys love Jurassic Park as much as I do, because that's what we're going to be doing. In the meantime, just drawing. I think we'll just do a little bit of warming up because I'm a little rusty. You guys have any New Year's resolutions you started or have begun talking about? Personally, I think mine are going to be all about, let's go to storyboard review. There you go. Stream will start shortly. Move this down. Okay, it says, Happy New Year, Dwoo. I can't join the stream tonight since my sleep schedule moves early, but I'll watch the replay. But hope you are having a great stream. Thanks, Kenny. I do appreciate that. I hope you get your sleep, and I'll see you when you come on next time. But my goal for this year, for 2020, is actually to cut videos of the stream. So hopefully that will allow people like yourself, Kenny, and others to watch it more readily. that was something that came up a couple times in last year's stream about how people had a hard time watching what 2-3 hours of people 2-3 hours of me talking about storyboards when no one really has that time. I don't even have time to watch through it all again, so I think I'm going to try my darndest to cut these up into shorter bits and actually engage with people a little bit more in that sense. That's my 2020 goal. I haven't exactly defined it yet, but that is something that I will try to do. And I'll probably define it later on as I try to understand my schedule and try to understand other things that are going on in my life at the moment. But for now, we'll just leave it a little bit vague, which is not good if you want to, you know, if you really want to accomplish your goals. I don't know what I'm doing drawing this. Let's do some, man, I want to draw like a dinosaur samurai. Yeah. Agent Penguin says, I actually like replaying the full streams while I work. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm not going to get rid of it. Let me tell you that. So that's nice. I'm glad that you like listening to them, because I don't think I have the prettiest voice by any means, and I don't think I am the most eloquent speaker either. I think there are a ton of other people that are way, way better at talking than I am and are more engaging. I'm trying to get to that level, but if you enjoy it, that's great. Yeah, I'm not going to stop you. Hey, Chad. But yeah, I will be trying to cut up the streams a little bit more this year, just because I think it's probably easier for most people. As a child growing up, I had these toys called Dino Riders, and basically they were dinosaurs with lasers. Straight up, that was the premise of the toy franchise. Well, there was more to the toy franchise. Like, the bad guy was a bug-looking guy that had like, it was a bug with like mandibles, and he was in charge of like the meat eater dinosaurs and was a bad dude. But then there was also an actual reptilian character. He looks something kind of like this. Like a T-Rex. He was a T-Rex riding a T-Rex with a full body, right? Like, it didn't make any sense to me as I got older, but as a child I thought that was dope, because he was like a humanoid T-Rex riding a T-Rex with lasers. And when I say lasers, I actually mean they were just hanging off the dinosaur and they were shooting lasers. On the box art, it was just dinosaurs shooting lasers at other dinosaurs shooting lasers. That's kind of what it looked like on top of a T-Rex. But look it up. Definitely look it up if you haven't seen it before. It's great. There are a lot of great dinosaur things in the 80s. There was also Dino Saucers, which had one of the best openings of all time. The song is just so it's just so good. I just love that song. It's like Dino Saucers, and then it was about good guy dinosaurs versus bad guy dinosaurs that came down in a UFO. Straight up, aliens meets dinosaurs, and they get some kids to help them out, and they fight the bad guy. Meat eater dinosaurs, and they also came down in a UFO, and it's just a great 80s series. The thing about dinosaurs and drawing dinosaurs, and this is just me spitballing while we wait for 8 o'clock, is that at some point we got better, as humans got better with anatomy, like dinosaur anatomy. Before, everything was just kind of like janky. If you look in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex runs kind of like this, right? Like that's his tail, and then its head is like that, and then kind of runs more like a traditional bird that we know of, or chicken, right? Run, run, run. But back in like the earlier part of the 19th century, 20th century, all the dinosaurs were drawn like this, where their tails are dragging on the ground, and they look much more like Godzilla in that sense, like that. And the whole field of dinosaurs and archaeology, and I don't know what you call that, paleontology, has changed quite a bit over the years, and there have been some amazing advancements that even in Jurassic Park, even though it came out in 1994, I think, it's kind of dated in a lot of ways. Like, the Velociraptor didn't actually look like that. It was a lot smaller and was actually feathered. The Velociraptor in Jurassic Park is more closely associated to like a Deinonychus or Deinonychus, however you want to pronounce it. All right. Chad says, I watched the VHS cartoon that came with one of the toy sets until it wouldn't play anymore. That's what I'm talking about, Chad. That's how you know you're a true Dinosaurs fan. That was dope. I think every kid goes through a dinosaur phase, both boy and girl. I just think it's kind of amazing to think that we have these ginormous creatures walking around the earth, and they existed, they changed the environment, and now we gotta dig them up. They're just lying in the ground, and we use them for fuel and whatnot too. But dinosaurs are amazing for any number of reasons. I think it's quite interesting. So this is not a good drawing of dinosaur because the anatomy is kind of really bad. I haven't really practiced my dinosaur anatomy, but I would definitely suggest looking at Brian Eng's. Let me see if I can find it online. He has some really good information about drawing dinosaurs, and he actually does paintings for museums and for publications illustrating what these creatures might have looked like in the past. So here's his website. Don't mess with dinosaurs. This is like his painting. I did a drawing a while back. He actually gave me some really good tips on how to draw dinosaurs anatomically correct. So definitely check out his stuff. He has a Twitter as well. Let's see if it'll come up. Brian Eng Dinosaurs. He also has a YouTube channel, Brian Eng Paleo Art, and
there are places
he makes some really, really great artwork. Yeah, you can see it already. Let me see if we can find his Twitter. Brian Eng _art. Definitely check out his Twitter. Check out all his social media and whatnot, because I think he is a great resource for people who want to learn how to draw dinosaurs properly and want to learn more about just what it takes to be a paleo illustrator, what it takes to work with museums and creating images of the past, but anatomically and properly correct. So great dude, really good art, and just, man, he's killing it. Just killing it. Yeah. Here's a quick and dirty Deinonychus I sketched for my video about the tiny horned dinosaur. So a lot of the science now says that dinosaurs most likely had feathers on them, or at least some of them did. Not all of them, just a lot of the more predatorial ones. And as you can see, it's kind of really dope. They look super dope. Anyways, check out his stuff. Amazing artist, amazing teacher. And if you want to learn how to draw dinosaurs properly, watch his stuff. Hey Kevin, hey Minmaze. Chad says James Gurney is bonkers as well. Yeah, James Gurney, oh man, I love Dinotopia. I love all his artwork. I love he has a couple of great books on painting and drawing, and he's just so good. I think everyone that's ever known of James Gurney is like, he's a living, breathing god, to say the least. His stuff is amazing. Whenever I go home, I'll pick up my Dinotopia books and just read through them again. I have a couple of them on my shelves here, and it just happens. If I ever open it, it's just, there goes a couple hours of me just reading Dinotopia. And I know it happens. I know the story. I love it. I just can't not read it because it's so good. So this is a terrible drawing of a dinosaur, but we're not here to learn how to draw dinosaurs today. If anything, we're here to learn how to draw lasers on dinosaurs, which is why I started this drawing. So in Dino Riders, you have these seats on these characters like that, kind of similar to Dinotopia, where you have humans riding dinosaurs. But the difference with Dino Riders versus Dinotopia or Dino Saucers is that these guys have lasers. So you have this guy here, and then you have like a bunch of 80s looking lasers sticking off of them. And by 80s lasers, I mean that plus that weird pointed tip. Pew pew pew. You know, if you're gonna have a giant like brachiosaur with a laser, a giant terribly drawn brachiosaur with a laser, I would say give it you know, give it a world-killing laser like in Star Wars. Man, I can't draw tonight. Fun fact, while I was on holiday break, I didn't draw for 2 weeks, and I came back and didn't know how to draw. And had to spend a bit of my day on Monday relearning how to do everything. It's pretty terrible. I think I still feel that. I'm having a hard time constructing things, and you know, that's why you should always keep your skills up. Even if you take a little break like that, it's gonna really hit ya, but hey man, sometimes you just gotta enjoy the... So this looks more like a Stinger missile than a laser. I think what's really missing is like those cannon type things from the 80s. I also think I'm using the wrong brush for this. You know, it looked like G.I. Joe stuff where it's like pew, 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 pew. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Ramos says his paleo art in National Geographic is crazy. I think his team he and his team were on the forefront of discovering dinos have feathers. Yeah, amazing stuff. So good. Kevin says everyone knows dinosaurs were chokers. They definitely did, as illustrated here. Make sure it's like a very lacy choker because they don't want their rough skin getting any rougher. And Ramo tries to draw, says, are you taking storyboard questions? Sorry, just tuned in. Yes, we are doing storyboards tonight. I was just drawing dinosaurs with lasers to pass the time, but it is 8 o'clock, so we are going to start with that. And the reason why I was talking about dinosaurs is because we are going to be talking about Jurassic Park tonight. So let's go back to the other one. Tabletop UI. So we are going to be talking about Jurassic Park tonight because I think Steven Spielberg as a director is one of the best directors of all time. He, between Jaws, Indiana Jones, E.T., Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, I feel like I'm missing one in there. Just those alone, Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Park, those 3 movies are phenomenally well crafted. Some of the best movies of all time, if not the best movies of all time. And there are a lot of techniques you can learn from him. And a lot of the modern film techniques, I think, are shown off in great effect in that movie. In those movies. And specifically tonight we're going to be talking about Jurassic Park because I love Jurassic Park. I think it holds up really well. And there's a lot of things you can learn from that movie. I'm not saying that Spielberg created those techniques, but those are the ones that spoke to me when I was growing up and what I watched for a lot of my inspiration for storyboarding. So that being said, we'll jump into Jurassic Park and talk about, for tonight at least, we're going to be talking about shots and shot choices. Let me go back to the other UI. So we're going to put this to the side for now. And we're going to be talking about shot choice and shot flow. And if you guys have any questions about storyboarding, just jump right in. But first, oh my god, I almost forgot. We almost forgot the joke. Oh my god, how did I forget that? Yeah, I almost forgot the joke. Oh, wow, I can't believe it. I almost can't believe it. That is the thing. I also feel like I'm running out of jokes in this book. I feel like I've told quite a few of them already. Okay, so because dinosaurs are birds are modern day dinosaurs, we'll tell a bird joke. What time do chickens wake up? What time do chickens wake up? They wake up at, hold on, wait for it, 7 o'clock. Give you that Ian Malcolm laugh. Now that we've talked about 7 o'clock, let's talk about chaos theory. And not at all related to chaos theory, shot choice and shot flow. So when you are storyboarding, you are given a script and then you are tasked with creating visuals for that script, right? The thing about going from words to visuals is that with words, there's kind of a certain order to the way the words are arranged. Even though you might say things differently, there's still kind of an order to them. At least in, well, English is a bad example, but in other languages, there's even more stricter format to the way words are arranged. In English, you can kind of start a sentence and still know how it will end. And it is that pattern of words and that choice of arranging them that sets up, our understanding of each other. Similarly, shot choice is like that with films, right? Going from shot to shot to shot, you kind of know what to expect, even though you might not be thinking of it, right? So it's a language. And I've talked about this before. Shot choice and shot flow is like a language. There is a certain way that you cut these together so it makes sense to the audience, and so that the audience can follow your story and don't get lost when they're watching the movie. This type of language is most easily picked up through just watching other films and studying other films in that sense, right? There are so many parts of filmmaking. There's cinematography, editing, acting, screenwriting, music, etc., etc. There's so many, but we're just going to focus on the visual aspect of it because that is what is most related to storyboards. So let's watch a quick clip that's actually not from Jurassic Park. I pulled up this clip from Inception because I think it's the best example of, like shot choice and shot flow. So have you guys seen Inception before? If not, definitely check it out. It's everything up until they enter the dream halfway through the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. When they enter the movie of the dream of Scarecrow, that's when things get wonky. But everything up until then is pretty fun and pretty well structured, and it's a solid movie up until that point. I personally, after that point, it gets a little wonky. Anyways, this scene that we're going to watch is just kind of like an introduction to another scene, but I love it because of the way the shots are cut together. So let's watch that really quickly. It has nothing to do with Jurassic Park other than that we're just talking about shot choice. I don't even think we need desktop audio for this. There's no talking. So ooh, it's a little chunky. I think my internet's a little chunky. And then that's it. That's the only clip that I wanted you guys to watch. And the reason for that is because it goes from a wide shot outside in Paris and gets us into this lecture hall and sets up spatial relations really well. The way the shots are cut together is also pretty seamless. Most people won't be able to pick out kind of like where the cuts are, and when they think about it, it happens so smoothly, right? So let's go back and take a quick look at what I mean by that. Right, so we start with a wide shot where it's panning, and then we go to a push in or a truck in a little bit with Leonardo DiCaprio coming in, and then we cut to another shot of him walking towards camera, and then he looks through this window. Each shot up until this point, and each shot in this whole sequence is connected to the other one. They're all connected with a little sinew of like a visual element or a camera move or actor doing something that motivates the next cut. It's called motivating a cut, right? So we have a pan, and that gives it a little bit of energy, and then we have another camera move. So the two, having camera move to a camera move like that kind of helps connect things. And then with Leonardo DiCaprio walking in past camera, that also helps us introduce us to the scene, right? So these are little tiny techniques that will help you connect shots together. So he's walking past, and then the next shot, they reverse it, right? So now he's coming towards camera. It's kind of a good and bad cheat. Some people like it when you go truck in, truck out. It really depends on the director. It can get kind of yo-yo if you go woo. So be mindful of that. But in this case, I think it's okay because the camera's actually not moving very much, and the actor is actually coming to the camera instead. But this is what's coming up here, where he looks through this window, this tiny window. We get his POV shot. That's a great example of motivating a cut. A character looks at something, and then we cut to what he's looking at, and so the two shots are connected with that sinew, right? The action and then whatever he's looking at. Action, reaction. Well, it's not really a reaction, but you know what I mean. And then we cut inside. This cut inside is great too, because it almost looks like his POV from when he was looking into the room, right? Let's pay attention, right? Yeah, right? So it's like a down shot of him looking at Michael Caine, and then the next shot is not exactly the same. If you look at this shot and the shot before, his desk is now, the camera's on the other side of the desk. Before it was pointing from the right side, now the camera's pointing from the left side. But that doesn't matter, because we get the feeling of him still looking down at Michael Caine, right? And that's how the two shots are connected, because we still kind of feel like it's Leonardo DiCaprio's point of view. So with this example, this is just a very quick example of how you should have your shots kind of lead into the into the next, into the next, into the next. And that will allow your audience to easily follow your film and not really have to worry about the visual side of things. You can just watch it and enjoy the story. Films that have kind of more erratic forms of cutting tend to confuse the audience, because they have to use two different parts of their brain. They have to use like the visual side and then the story side to understand what's going on. And because of that, people get tired, people don't follow it, they get confused. And you just don't want that to happen. You're trying to tell a story at the end of the day. So you need to make sure the visual actually helps support the story. Does that make sense? So let's move that off to the side. Go watch Inception. Don't watch it for the action. I think the action in Christopher Nolan films is kind of bad most of the time. When I think of like The Dark Knight or Batman Begins, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense what he's doing action-wise when he's fighting. Same thing with Inception, but story-wise and shot-wise, it's not bad. You could do definitely worse. If you want, I would say his best film is probably The Prestige. That one is just solid through and through. Great story, great cinematography, great acting. Just, yeah, watch The Prestige. If you want to watch a Christopher Nolan film, watch The Prestige. It's so good. Okay. Let's get to Jurassic Park now, because that's what we came here for. So I'm going to close that. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't like shilling out too much, but it helps me know what you guys like. It helps me keep track of what is, popular and what is working and what's not working. So like and subscribe. You gotta stay up to date and whatnot. Ramo tries to draw says, what is good draftsmanship? Is it having somewhat rendered panels, clean lines, readable lines, all of it? I see a lot of TV boards with few lines and little development. I'm confused. We'll talk about that at the end of the stream. And Happy New Year from G2 Alex. Happy New Year back at you. And our March Animation says, I'm here for JP and food references. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about food. We'll definitely talk about food. Okay, so shot choice and shot flow. You want to hide the cuts between shots so that flows seamlessly between one shot to the next. That's basically what I was talking about with Inception. Similarly, frame compositions will hide the cut. That's why I was talking about the Michael Caine desk, where he's looking through the window, and then we go into it, and then we go into it again. And then as well as cutting on action, I'll show you guys that in a little bit. And then last bit is returning to previous compositions will also help to smooth out shots. So let us take a look. So this is Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg. If you haven't seen it before, definitely check it out. We are going to look at a quick little bit with cutting on action, right? So let's move back a little bit. Have you guys seen Jurassic Park before? I'm hoping everyone's going to say yes to this question, but if you have not, please definitely watch Jurassic Park. It is, just watch it. Just watch it. And if you don't like it, then talk to me. If you love it, great, talk to me as well, but just watch it. So this is after the opening scene where the dinosaur attack happens. And this is a nice also sequence where we get to understand, where we get to see a lot of film technique that's very simple. All the stuff that I'm talking about is very basic, but it's very important. It's very important. It's like the structure of things. So watch this. He goes to reach, grab his hand, grabs it, cut, right? That's called cutting on action, or having, like, hooking up a shot. And the idea of that is that it helps to bridge two shots together so that you don't really notice it that much. Oh my goodness. It's like you don't notice things happening, and so you don't, the cut seems seamless. We can watch it again. Right? It goes from that to the next shot seamlessly, and it's good for bridging two separate shots. It's good for action. A lot of times when things are happening quickly, like let's say a punch, you can actually have someone punching towards someone else, and then you can cut to a shot of the impact, or you don't have to show the impact, you can just show the person flying back. But it's a good way to bridge two shots that might not necessarily work. In this case, it works really well because the composition is similar. It's very similar, and so it's very easy for the eye to follow, right? If we want to get super technical about it, and this is super technical, this is an upshot of the shot, right? And pay attention to where his hand connects, right about here. Somewhere in the middle of the frame, maybe down to the left. And then the next shot, it's just about the same area. The other thing is that it's a down shot now. The other one was an up shot, and now this one's a down shot. But I don't think anyone paid attention to that difference up until I pointed it out. And that's part of the magic of cutting on action, is that your mind, when you're watching it, makes up the difference. And this looks so similar to the other one that it just works. So that's nice. Let's keep going. So let's go to what I really want to show you guys. So spoilers, there's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are alive in this movie. And like all good dinosaur movies, they start attacking humans. And in this sequence that we're going to watch, it's the Tyrannosaurus Rex is going to attack the kids. Right? Oh no! No, go back. Okay, let me turn on the audio so that we can listen to it as it plays.
Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
Alright, so the T-Rex is about to attack. We're kind of halfway through the scene already, but let's just watch.
Where's the goat?
All right, that was super well crafted, right? Super well done. It is particularly well done because it's taking place in and outside of a car, right? Some of the shots are happening inside the car, some are happening outside the car. And if you've ever storyboarded a sequence before with car stuff, it gets so hard. The problem is that you want to try and maintain character relationships from left to right and right to left. You don't want them like flopping on the sides of the screen. The other hard thing is that when you're shooting with a car, oftentimes the car will start to frame things and it will make it difficult to see certain things. With Jurassic Park, the vehicle of the car, the ceiling of the car has a glass window, which makes it really great for film because you can see what they're looking up at things above the car. But if this were a normal car, you would have to have the characters like pressed up against the window to look at things. You wouldn't be able to have those shots with the goat falling on top of it, etc., etc. So I chose the sequence because I think the way he incorporated like the shot choice and shot flow of it is really well done. And again, I'm just going to point out things we already talked about, right? So Okay. Get to it. Maybe the power
Maybe it's the
coming
power
back
trying
on.
to come back.
Right, so we've actually seen the shot earlier. Comes over. Let me see him. So let's back this up just a couple frames. Oh man, I wish VLC had a little bit more functionality for this. So earlier, most of the shots took place of the camera looking through the back of the car. This next camera move is really great because it helps to establish what window he's going to look out of. If we just cut to some random window of him looking out of it, it might get a little bit confusing, but with that pan or that orbit around the corner of the car, we can clearly see which direction he's looking, left to right. We establish all the characters, we establish a good screen direction, etc., etc. Right, so he looks out the window. Again, like this is kind of like the cutting on action type of idea where a character looks at something and then we cut to their POV. So the character Tim was looking out the window and then we cut to his POV. That's how the two shots are bridged, and it's a good way to show things from a character's point of view, literally from a character's point of view. Get a little bit of a zoom in, handheld zoom in. And then this is a interesting shot because you would think we would cut back to Tim, but we cut back to the two of them, which is great. We get their reaction. And pay attention to this composition because we'll actually come back to it in a little bit, right? And this is what I was talking about, reusing compositions to make things more visually digestible. That's also really nice, and that's what I was talking about with the ceiling of the car being glass. It allows you to see upwards. In most situations, you don't have that in cars, so you have to do things, you have to get a little bit creative with your shots. In this case, it's a nice reveal because you have a pan up, and then you kind of do a slight rack focus to the leg falling on the ceiling. And then the next shot, guess what the next shot is? Put your answers in the chat, and let's see what you think the next shot is going to be. Hey, Rebecca. Not a problem at all. We're just getting into the meat and potatoes of stuff right now. People, Art March Animation says reaction shot. Kevin says reaction shot. Ramos says reaction shot. Yes, you guys are correct, right? This reaction shot is the exact same composition as the one previous to it. Oh, damn it. This one right here. It's the exact same composition and framing, even though, look, technically this is not a correct shot. She should be leaning forward in the shot technically, because in the next shot she falls backwards, etc., right? It doesn't hook up properly, but because we've seen the composition before, we've seen that shot before, because it looks similar enough, the two shots are, or all three shots are bridged together perfectly. It just seems seamless. So that is a good example of how to reuse shots or reuse compositions to make shots more digestible for quicker reactions, etc., right? And then we cut back to Tim. This is when we actually cut back to Tim. Up until this point, it was kind of not in Tim's POV. And then we cut back to Tim's POV again. And pay attention to this shot right here, because look, we cut to it again, but now it's from the inside of the car, and then somehow we go from the inside up and then outside of the car to that, and it's a very, very beautiful reveal. It takes it from kind of like Tim's point of view, pulls it out, and then has like a cool camera move to show how big the Tyrannosaurus Rex is compared to everything else. But that's what good shot flow and good shot choice will do for your work, right? Understanding whose point of view you're looking through, understanding and reusing compositions from before will make complicated sequences very easy to understand. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you guys all got it well. So we'll watch it one more time just to see it in action. Again, this is not something that Spielberg himself developed or created. I think he just does it really well. At least in his older movies. His newer movies, not so much. But his older movies are quite amazing in that sense. So.
What is that? Where's the goat?
This zoom in here is a very Spielbergy thing to do. He loves to have like this ease in, speed up, zoom in, and it eases it into a stop, and it's a Spielberg thing he can get away with. If you watch the new Star Wars movie, J.J. Abrams does this same camera move all the time, and it's so noticeable. It's so like awkward when watching the movie that now that I point it out, you'll just notice it every time it happens. And it happens so much in that movie. And I don't know what it is about Spielberg that lets him get away with it. I think it might be the timing. I think it might be about when he pushes it in like this. But it is something you have to be very delicate with, because in the case of J.J. Abrams, it doesn't work. But with Spielberg, it's so good. It's so good. And it's something that he does really well. And that, now that I point it out, you'll see it again. You'll see it happening all the time as well. So this shot is like the POV of the dinosaur. Sorry, runs out. I really hope you guys have seen this movie before. Otherwise, this shot, I'll just show it to you. It doesn't relate to what we're talking about tonight. I'll talk about it in another episode when we talk about camera moves and how Spielberg uses camera moves really well, because I think that's another thing he does so much better than anyone else. So why I love that camera move specifically is that I think most people would do that shot in two shots, right? They would show him running toward the bathroom and then show him cut to the inside of the bathroom and him running into the bathroom and then sitting down. In storyboarding and kind of in film, you want to limit the number of shots you have, because the more often you cut, the more difficult it is for the audience to follow. If you watch Michael Bay films or even Zack Snyder films, you'll see that they cut quite frequently. They'll be like chop, 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 chop. And the audience, every time you cut to a new shot or new composition, your brain has to work, right? It has to be like, okay, what's new? And it starts picking things out. And then it's like, oh, what's new again? And so it's hard. It's just visually taxing on the audience. In this case, Spielberg did it in one shot, right? We see him running toward the door. He comes in and the camera tracks with him, and then he sits down. It's such an elegant solution to it. We don't have to see the outside of the bathroom to know it's a bathroom. We don't need to see where he's running, because it's already established in that beginning of the shot, right? We see the truck over here. So everything is really, really well set up spatially. We know where the truck is. We know where the bathroom is. We know where he is now. And it's all done in one shot with just like a simple pivot. And you don't really see that anymore, to be honest. And we get a lot more acting from him. If we were to do this in two shots, you would kind of miss out on some of the acting of him being like frantic and like swinging his arms all about. So when you storyboard, try to think of elegant ways to have less shots but still convey the same amount of information. And that will lead me to my next point about shot rhythm. Shot rhythm is kind of the amount of time a shot is on frame for, the duration a shot is on frame for. So if you have a lot of short duration shots that are like maybe second or less than a second. That gives it a little bit more intensity. That's why action sequences always have a lot of cuts. So I was like, bam, 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 cut, 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 etc., etc., etc. Right? Longer cuts can create a range of emotions. It's not always just like in stillness or calmness, but it can also create intensity. It can create suspense. It can create importance. With a longer shot, there's a lot more range and things you can do with it. It's all dependent upon the story. It's all dependent upon the acting, etc., etc. Think about things like Silence of the Lambs, where you have like really long takes of Hannibal Lecter, and you feel that intensity building as you watch the movie. And then think about other movies like even in Inception, that opening shot is pretty long. A lot of the shots in that film are pretty long, but they create a different sense of emotion. They might create more of a playfulness, especially when they're in the dream, or more of a, like you feel like you're being rushed for time versus the suspense of Hannibal Lecter. So let's look at something in Jurassic Park where they kind of do that a little bit, right? And this is something very, very small, but it just illustrates the point really well. Come on, VLC, don't fail me now. All right. So they have a new technology that they're going to use, and what it does is it basically shoots it looks like what is a shotgun shell into the ground, and it gives you back a radar image of what you just shot into the ground, so you can see dinosaur bones without actually seeing it. Right, so this is that machine right here. Put in the shotgun shell. That was 4 different shots. 2 of them were the same shot actually, but because of the duration of the shot, how quick it is, it gives you like a lot more impact than if it were just one shot. They could have easily had done it in this wide shot right here, right? They could have done it here, just put it in and boom, but it wouldn't have the same feeling. And this just goes to show that, not only is it about shot choice, but it's about shot duration, shot rhythm. Right? They show it happening a couple times. They show him put him in and they lock it and shoot it, and then there's another shot where they shoot it, and another shot where it shoots it again. And because of that quickness and the shortness of the shot, it gives it a little bit more of an impact than if it were just to happen in the wide shot. It seems a lot more dramatic. It gives it a lot more energy for something that is so dull, right? That's basically what shot rhythm is. Understanding how the quickness of your shots or the slowness of your shots changes the feeling of the scene. Let me see if I can pull out another one. Where things happen pretty quick. Where is it? Oh, wait. So, if you haven't seen the movie before, this is a spoiler, but they're going to kill Newman. That's a Dilophosaurus. Uh-oh, let's put on the sound.
Stick. Stick. Yeah. Yeah, look, stick. Look, stick. Stick, stupid. That's a stick, boy. Look at this stick. Yes. You like a stick?
Man, that dinosaur looks so good. I think that's an animatronic dinosaur, too.
I'm gonna run you over when I come back down.
All right, come on. See that that part right here with it like having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of the Dilophosaurus, even though it's pretty much the same thing, it builds the intensity, it builds the energy and the feeling of something is going to happen, right? It doesn't always have to be bad, but it definitely raises the energy level of the scene. It makes the dinosaur seem much more threatening. And you actually, if you pay attention, you actually see its frill coming out a couple different times. Right. 1, 2. Right? It's there, you see the frill actually coming up twice, and you have 4 different shots of the frill, and that alone creates the scariness of the scene in this particular instance. Here, let's slow it down a little bit so that we can see it. Playback. One, 2, 3, 4, and then we see it shoot. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you want me to point out about this? Whoa. It looks like I have a warning on my stream about playing copyrighted material, and that is not good. So let's move that off to the side. Do you guys have any questions about what I was talking about, shot rhythm and shot flow? Is the stream blocked right now, actually? Oh, okay. It's still okay. So yeah. Okay. So if the stream is still going and that's all good, that is kind of that's about like shot. Guadalupe says, how do you decide how many cuts to do when you do that multiple cut thing? It depends on you, the filmmaker, right? At least when I storyboard, a lot of times I'll draw it out and then play it back, tap through it how I want to see it at like what speed. So I'll be like tap 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 tap. And on some shows they'll actually make you time out your storyboards, which you really shouldn't have to do, but they will. And in those moments, it's easier to kind of see how many cuts you need and how long it should play for. When the editor gets your storyboards, usually they'll figure out the timing. So sometimes that will be when you need to know. That will be when you find out if you need more shots. Honestly, I think 3 is always a good number. 3 is always like a magic number when it comes to designing things. Rule of thirds, telling things like 3-act structure, doing things in 3 Stooges. Everything 3 is always good. 3 is a company. So yeah, I would just start with 3 shots. Last thing we're going to talk about is shot point of view, and that is when you start setting up your shots, you need to keep in mind where the camera is, right? You need to keep in mind whose point of view we're looking for, the point of view we're looking through, and why should we be looking through that person's point of view. We already saw 2 examples of people's point of view, one with Tim looking through the goggles at the goat, and then we also saw the one with Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio looking through the window, and that helped us take us into the classroom. So a lot of times you'll shoot things from characters' point of view, right? It doesn't have to be directly their point of view, like it doesn't have to be through their eyes all the time, but it'll be like generally next to them, like 3/4 down shot or whatever's. but there'll also be the omniscient point of view. In the scene where we had the guy walking to shake the hands of the other archaeologists, whose point of view were we looking at when they're shaking hands, right? It was just third person point of view, just some godly point of view. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with using that. You just need to know when to use that. Because if you're using that the whole time, then it becomes kind of like a play, right? When you watch a play, you're just watching it from the audience. You're watching two people on screen doing their thing together. They're like just acting. But the thing about film is that you can go into anyone's eyeballs and see what they're doing. You can get those close-ups, you can get wide shots, you can get medium shots, and that is important. What makes film different than just a stage play. And so, hopefully, damn, I did not know that this would happen with the stream, with it being blocked. I kind of don't want to show it now. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can just take some screen grabs of it then instead. That might be easier. Kevin says, do you keep editing in mind when boarding since you don't know how the editor may time it? Kevin also says maybe more wide shots if you want it slower, more shots if you want it faster, things like that. Yeah, whenever you do storyboards, you should always keep in mind the timing of whatever you're doing, right? Like even if you're not in charge of necessarily cutting it together, you should have that pacing mentally in your head. And a lot of times what I'll do with my boards is that I'll just go back and play through it again. Like I'll storyboard out some stuff and then go back to the beginning, like tap through it, say the dialogue in my head or even act it out. Like, oh, and then this happens and then da-da-da-da-da. Like I'll say it like, and you, I hate your face and your carrot cake. And he's like, you hate my carrot cake? Well, I hate your, your lasagna. And then you tap it out like that. You can feel the rhythm. You tap through the poses and you know when things are dragging, when things are too long. And you have to kind of do it mentally to really get a feel for it. Over time, as you do storyboards and as you watch movies, particularly movies, you'll know when things are supposed to be fast and slow. You can kind of, there's like music. It's a lot like music where there are certain parts where you know it's picking up speed and when it slows down and when things should be calm and like rough. A good song will have a good variation of like slow parts and fast parts, loud parts and quiet parts. And that can be all done visually. So you just have to kind of pay attention to that. Oh man, what to do about this situation, because I did not expect it to like do this to me. Okay. You know what? I'll be more prepared next time for this. Because I definitely do not want the stream to get taken down. I thought for educational purposes it would be okay. Because I thought that's, that's the thing. You can actually get away with copyright. Not just like copyright infringement, but usage of copyrighted material if it's for educational purposes. Anyways. Put a watermark on the screen to block the copyright filter, or maybe mirror the footage. Oh, mirroring the footage might be. You're not wrong. I'll find a way around it. We'll do it together, guys. We'll find a way around it so that we can learn something together. I hope it doesn't take it down then when I post it up later. That would not be good. Anyways, I'm taking shots of the T-Rex attacking the car. And the reason why I'm doing that is just because I want to show you guys POV stuff. Right, so this is the kid's POV up here. They're holding up the screen up. The camera, actually, this is one shot right here. These are the same shot, it just pushes in. And we see their hands again. Oh, this is such a good shot. And then this right here is a kid screaming, right? Then we go to the point of view of the T-Rex. So T-Rex. Oh my goodness, I spelled it like reverse. T-Rex POV, third person POV. Right, and as you're doing your storyboards, keep in mind where the camera is coming from, who the camera is representing. Why did you shoot it from that position? And a lot of times, by doing that, you can actually change screen direction. You can change character's position if you show the character, you show their POV, and then you've reestablished their screen position basically. Damn it, I have a perfect example for that, and I can't really show it right now because it's a fail. All right. All right, I'm going to try to establish this through screenshots. In the meantime, post up more questions about shot choice, shot rhythm. Hold on, I'm cutting it together. I'm cutting it together, guys. Give me a second. I want to show you a part where they actually flop the screen direction or the screen position of the characters. So, shit. Never mind. It's too much trouble. But basically, what happens is Spielberg flops the screen position of the characters by switching the camera's point of view, right? So they start from Ian Malcolm and then they go to another person. They show what Ian Malcolm is looking. And then after that, they use Ian Malcolm's point of view as a new screen position for all the characters. Basically, at one point, the dinosaur was on the left side, like this. Dinosaur kids were on this side, right? And then Ian Malcolm in the car back here, or Dr. Grant, whatever, right? This is the general idea of it. And then we cut to Ian Malcolm. He's looking through the window like, oh my god, right? And then we see it through Ian Malcolm's point of view. So now the kids are kind of like this side, and the dinosaur was on the other side. But it worked partly because this is a neutral shot, partly because we want his perspective, his point of view. And then later on, when we cut to the next shot, it's actually no longer Ian Malcolm's point of view. It's just a third person point of view, but we've established that the dinosaur is on this side already, so it's not confusing. Does that make sense? So it's kind of tricky in that sense. This is third person POV. Just a close up on Ian Malcolm, close up Ian POV, and then now we have a new third person POV. But just like any language and any song, they all flow together, right? There's a connecting thread between this one to this one, and then this one to this one, and this one to this one. But if we were to go just from this shot to this shot, it wouldn't make any sense. Your eye would get confused because you're like, wait, the T-Rex is on the left side, but now it's on the right side. That doesn't work. You need those other connecting shots to make that last shot work, right? You need these two shots to make this last one work. So when you're watching the film, look for these moments where the camera point of view is switching, because that will help you to identify how you can do that in your own work, how you can change what the audience is feeling, right? In that sequence with the kids having their hands up like that, you feel like you're the kid defending yourself from the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The third person point of view here just kind of gives you a very clear picture of what's happening. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is like and try to eat them, and then we get the reaction. So you now know how to react to what's happening. It could be a totally different reaction than this. Like if the kids were like nonchalant, you'd be like, whoa, what the heck is going on? It would be a totally different feeling. But the reaction shot always helps the audience know what to feel. Hey, Swearwolves. G2Alex says, fun fact, the T-Rex animatronic dropped sooner than expected, so when the T-Rex broke through the sunroof, the kids legitimately screamed in terror. That is great. That's really funny. I hope the kids were not traumatized by this movie. Oh, fun fact, this kid here, he's actually in the Social Network. Social Network? Yeah, he's in the Social Network movie. He plays one of the friends of Mark Zuckerberg in the cafeteria. All right, did you guys have any questions about what we talked about tonight? We talked about shot flow, shot rhythm, and kind of the way you arrange your shots to make things make sense. All right, let's go back to that. We talked about shot choice and shot flow, shot rhythm, how faster cuts give more energy. Longer cuts can create a range of emotions, and it's just depending upon story and what you do with that. What the characters are doing in the scene as well. And then shot POV, consider whose point of view the audience is looking through when choosing your shots. It'll help keep continuity in scenes. So, any questions? Any questions? Look through the upload folder, and no one uploaded storyboards, so that is all good. We can talk about something else if you guys want. Otherwise, it'll be a short stream tonight. You know, nice and short and sweet, about an hour long. I probably would have talked more if the copyright thing wasn't a problem, but we'll figure that out next time. Hey, Wendy. Yeah, I was gonna hey, Wendy. So, do you guys have any questions? Let me switch yours up. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, Guadalupe had a question, I think, earlier, right? Guadalupe or the art? Ramo. Ramo says, what is good draftsmanship? Is it having somewhat rendered panels, clean lines, readable lines, all of it? I've seen a lot of TV boards with few lines and little development. I'm confused. I think that is a good question. What is like something that's too rough or too clean? What is good draftsmanship? Oh, that's tough. All right, so I think it depends. The short answer is, if you can get your idea across, then it's good enough, right? Storyboarding isn't about making completely pretty drawings. It's about conveying an idea. It's about conveying action. It's about conveying emotion. So if you can do that, then that is what is important. Right, I think for certain shows, let's say we're doing a close-up of someone. It also depends on the shot, right? But good draftsmanship is confident lines. It's about showing that you understand and can convey an idea really easily, right? That versus something like, you know, draftsmanship is just like one and done a lot of times. Like, it's not noodling your lines. It's not feathering your lines, like, or even doing a lot of this. I think a lot of people get caught up in trying to make the perfect line every time, so they do it a lot. They're like, okay. Draftsmanship comes from drawing something a lot. It comes from a lot of practice and a lot of experience, right? And so let's say you're drawing a box or a cube, boom, versus something where you're like, Okay. You're not confident about making a long line. You don't want to feather your lines like that or do too much of this, right? Going back over, and you want it to be clean and simple and easily readable, right? You want this, and this applies to everything, right? You want it to be very clean, very confident. Just one shot and you're done. So when it comes to storyboarding, there are two phases. There's rough and cleans. Some people have really rough. Some people just do like this for a head of someone talking. Yeah, I'm talking, right? And so when they take it to cleans, maybe, let's say we're drawing Ash Ketchum. We're gonna draw Ash because I love drawing Ash. Not really, but we'll draw him anyways. Hey mom, I really like that Mr. Mime, but I think he's kind of creepy, right? Like, let's have him scratching his head. He has this. Oh my god, I drew that so badly. Oh my god. Wow, I can't draw an arm today to save my life. Let's do the other side now. Wow, why am I having so much difficulty? Anyways, there you go. That's why. Right? So, this could be your clean, and this could be your rough, right? And then there's a grayscale between the two where you could have it less, even rougher, but still, or even cleaner or rougher, right? And so when you're working on a show, you kind of have to just ask your director, you have to ask and look at the other people's work around you to figure out at what stage is it acceptable. Some shows like it rougher, some shows like it cleaner, some you can get away with more basic shapes like this, like you don't have to draw on all their features, just kind of the more important stuff. And what I mean by more important stuff, I mean things that help indicate how a form is turning. Right, so like maybe drawing Ash, you don't have to draw his jacket on the whole time, but you definitely have to draw him if he's like running. You have to show like the arm, etc., etc. Damn, I can't. These are not good drawings. This is not. I think it's because I don't have an image in my mind of what I want to draw. Right, so it could be something a little bit more along the lines of this. For some cleans. Again, it's all show dependent, especially between like action shows and comedy shows. The quality of lines and what you want to do varies greatly. Also, let's say you are doing a close-up shot, right? Let's say it's a close-up of Ash, like a real extreme close-up. Like this might be a roughs. But you can't turn that in like that. You actually have to go back and kind of add more detail because you're so close to the character. And there's a lot more nuance, especially with close-up shots where you want to, if you're doing a close-up shot, you want to see the person's emotion and reaction. So you have to spend the time crafting that. You have to spend the time making sure it reads well. So with close-ups, a lot of times I'll spend my time making sure the emotion reads properly, and also trying to get them a little bit closer to model. This is obviously not how Ash looks, but yes, as a Z's though. Z's. Oops. Right. So in that case, with closer up shot, with shots that are close-ups, or when something is very important for the story, like someone's reactions, I'll spend more time making sure it's clean, making sure it looks more on model, in my opinion. Does that make sense? Did I answer all that question? What's good draftsmanship? Is it having somewhat rendered panels, clean lines, readable lines, all of it? I see a lot of TV boards with few lines and low development. I'm confused. Again, it's very show specific. I think you just need to kind of gauge the show itself. Wow, that came out crazy. Oh, chunky pen. I do like drawing with a chunky pen though. So definitely figure out what your show wants. And like we had talked about before, I think shows, TV shows and films are different, or animated films are different in that they want a little bit more rendering. So in that case, add in what I'm doing now, add in like the darks, you know, give it a little bit more of a lighting pass on it. Where's the lighting coming from? Who did you just get shocked by Pikachu, etc., etc.? Like, give it a little bit more love, put a gray tone on it. You know, maybe he just failed his Pokemon test again. Oh man, I should draw like this all. This is fun. I like doing this. Oh man, I should make a chunky brush later. Right, so this might be something more featurey, where you get the toning. You wouldn't really have time to do this in TV, so that's why. But you can see it adds a little bit more dimension to everything. Okay, moving on. G2Ox says, are continuous shots for too much or keep it simple as bored? Are continuous shot for too much or keep it simple as bored? You might need to refine that question a little bit. I'm not quite understanding. Aiden says, how do you cut on action without it feeling like a smash cut? So in the instance that we saw earlier where it was the two people shaking hands, right? That was basically like this, right? They shook hands in this scene. Let's move that down. Hey. Right. This hand came from off screen somewhere. And then we cut wide to the next shot where they're actually shaking hands. So this is cutting on action, but it's not action like fighting action. It still works and it's not a smash cut. Right, and then the boat, all that stuff was here like that. There are other people here too. I think the boat was like that, right? Something like this, I imagine. So this is cutting on action. We saw them shaking hands, and then we cut wide, and they're still shaking hands. That's cutting on action, basically. Or another way is you could show them about to shake hands in this sequence, or in this shot, right? And I think this is more what maybe Aiden is asking. He's about to shake. The other guy's hand is out too. Right? And then in the next shot, it just goes straight to that. That would also be cutting on action. But, and this would be more in the traditional sense, cutting on action. In terms of like smash cut, a smash cut is what happens when you truck in really quickly, or you cut, smash cut? Smash. I think a smash cut is like when you just truck in really quickly, or smash. Let me make sure I'm 100% sure about that smash cut. Oh. No. According to Wikipedia, it says it's a technique film where one scene abruptly cuts to another for aesthetic, narrative, or emotional purpose. So that's kind of like a good idea of a smash cut would be when in Solo, the movie Solo, the guys, Han Solo is talking. Hold on, let me just draw a scene for you. Yeah, Guy Ritchie uses them a lot. What's his name? The guy that did Edgar Wright uses them a lot for comedic effect. So this is Solo, Han Solo. This is the other guy. And so Han Solo is talking to this guy, the Imperial Force, and he says, "I want to be a pilot." And the Imperial Force officer is like, "No problem. We'll get you flying in no time." And then the next shot, you see this. You're like, there's a guy that gets blown up. He literally just gets blown up. That would be a smash cut, right? You go from one shot to the next, and it's very abrupt, very harsh, and in this instance, it is like kind of a tongue-in-cheek play. Well, he's like, "We'll get you flying in no time," and then you see the guy exploding, and he's flying, right? It's a joke. It's a comedic joke, a visual joke. So, how does that relate to cutting on action, and how do you avoid that, right? You avoid it by making sure the shots connect to each other, and making sure that when you go from one shot to the next, that there is some type of sinew between the two. Wait, is this stream down? Oh shit. No! What? What? Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. Okay. Well, I guess that's the end of that. Shit. Good to know. Oh shit. Hey, it's back up. Oh snap, it's back. Okay, that was weird. Yeah, that was very weird. I'm not sure. I guess it's just literally, like they said, temporarily. I guess, you know, stopping for like a good 5 minutes is nice-ish. I don't. Anyways, oh my goodness. Let's see if we can get back on track here. Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking about smash cuts, right? Let's go back to Han Solo. Hopefully this doesn't get me booted off again. So, in the case of Han Solo, the smash cut was, let's get you flying, and then the next shot is, boom, the guy's flying, right? That's a smash cut. It's a hard, abrupt cut. In the case of in the case of Jurassic Park, smash cut would be like maybe they're shaking hands, and then the next scene we just see a dinosaur, right? Right, that would be a smash cut. We don't know how they're related, and it's very abrupt. That would be a smash cut. To avoid that in action shots, you would, or in any shot for that matter, you would want to make sure that there is a sinew, a visual sinew. So if it's something like a character punching, right? Let's say we show a character punching. I like this brush, and I don't like it at the same time because it's very finicky to work with. But let's say a character's punching. Punch. Why am I drawing him so off screen? It's Hajime Ippo. He's punching. There, right? He's punching in this shot. Woo. And then the next shot, it's someone else getting knocked back. Like, ugh. Right, like. Let's try this like that. Right? That would not be a jump cut or a smash cut because these two shots are kind of like action, reaction type shots. And so when you're choosing your shots to avoid smash cuts on action, always make sure that they are somehow connected, either through what some character is doing or by seeing something in the scene. Another way you could do is, like, let's say he's punching, right? But we see a like pine tree in the background. So instead of this shot, the next shot is, you know, closer on the pine tree, like this, or let's move this one over here, right? This is a bad example, but that's a really bad example. It would have to flip this. You'd have to flip this one. Right. This pine tree wouldn't be here. Be more likely on this side or something, right? Be like over here. But basically what I'm trying to indicate is that by having this pine tree that should be in the shot somewhere, or even multiple pine trees. It doesn't have to be the same one. It can be just multiple pine trees. It establishes that when they're fighting, they're still fighting in the area. It's a visual element that helps tie these two shots together. Without the pine trees, or at least even seeing anything visually similar, you would get confused by this, right? It's making sure you have things from one scene to the next that help your audience make that visual leap, visual stepping stone from shot to shot. This is not a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank on the fly. Kind of got thrown off by that YouTube thing, but you know. But yeah, that's kind of how you avoid smash cuts. Minmay says, since the stream seems okay for the time being, would be okay to upload a board now. Yeah, go ahead. Feel free to upload one. There were other questions. Wendy says, I'm pretty new, and I guess we're talking about storyboard. Yeah, we're talking about storyboards. And if you have any questions about storyboarding for animation, let me know, or just storyboarding in general. Swarrove says, do you both thumbnail and rough? Usually when I do my roughs, it's the way I go from script to storyboard is I'll just write out my dialogue. I'll write out everything first because it's just faster. I'll be like, cut, close up of fist coming to camera, cut, blue guy flies back away from camera, cut to wide shot, 3/4, cut to wide shot, foreground element blocking it, right? And so that's kind of how I do my stuff now, right? And then when I go ahead and start thumbing it, I already kind of, in my mind, I can see it. Right, blue guy flying back, like we just saw. And then, you know, maybe I'll be like a wide shot with a battlefield, like you see a sword, maybe some spears, and these two people fighting. Right, so that's my process. I write it out first because it's so much faster for me to just say what I think in my mind than to actually have to thumb it out, right? I can just see the shots in my head already that I don't need to visually thumb it out. As I go through it and I start roughing it, that's when I'll start changing shots. I'm like, oh, this is not playing correctly, so maybe I'll switch it around, right? But this method for me works the best to do it just typing, because a lot of times what I'll be like is, that sounds too generic. Let me go back and change it. It'll be like 3/4 or close up of fist hitting face, close up or then wide shot of characters fighting, beat held, close up of reaction black guy. And then and I'll be like, oh, maybe that's not what I feel like. That seems like a kind of a weird cut. Let me change it again. So maybe close up of hitting face, close up of reaction of the black guy, and then reaction shot of blue guy. Go wide, right? And so in my head, I can kind of see them already, and then I'll start drawing it out before I actually start drawing. Does that make sense? How I go about my process? See you, Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Wendy says, when doing dialogue, do you write next to the panel? Yes, I usually, well, most of the dialogue is already written out for us, but if I do dialogue in the same way I do this, I'll just write it next to what I'm thinking. So close up of hitting face, I'm like, let's go back to the other one. Close up, fist coming to camera, it might be the guy saying, eat knuckle sandwich, Sonic. And the guy's like, ugh. And then that's That's for stealing all my rings. Oh, that's for stealing all my chili dogs. That's a Sonic the Hedgehog reference. Alright, and then I'll go back. I'll start drawing it out. And then I'll have the dialogue wherever, etc., etc. So that's kind of how I do the dialogue. Again, this is not set in stone. This is kind of just my method. You can do whatever you want, whatever's easiest for you. My method has kind of changed a lot over the years. I used to do thumbnails, and then I did more roughs, and then I went to this, and then I do roughs, and like it fluctuates based upon like the amount of time I have, the script, the stage that the script is in. If it's a little bit rougher, then I'll probably sit down and think more and then write, or I might do more exploratory shots. Like a lot of times when I don't have a location, what I'll do, so let's say we're doing like the Jurassic Park scene, right? And it says T-Rex attacks dinosaur or car, but you don't have a background or you don't have any idea of where things are happening. A lot of times I'll just draw like a schematic, right? I'll be like, okay, this is the T-Rex pen. T-Rex will come in this way. Maybe we'll change it up so that the car is like this, car, right? And then like maybe the bathroom's on this side, bathroom. So that's kind of like how I'll start, and then I'll go to the writing, right, and then I'll start choosing shots, right? Because at least with a background or like a blueprint of where people are standing, for like room shots, I'll do that too. Like if this is the room, this is the door, right? And then there's like a table here, table. I'll already kind of have an idea in my mind of where I want to place characters. This is what blue character, green character, and they're talking, and then maybe the pink guys against the wall, right? And so now that I know where everyone's standing, I can start choosing shots. Like, okay, maybe this is the 2-shot for them, maybe the wide shot to see everyone's over here, and then I'll start to pick out the shots, right? That's when I'll start, after this point, and after writing a little bit, that's when I'll start kind of like drawing stuff, right? Because I kind of know where people are in the room. You talking to me, Sonic? You think you're a badass, Sonic? I'm the fastest in the world. Right, so that's another way to approach storyboarding, right? And this, again, this changes based upon script, changes upon time limits, changes upon the complexity of the scene, etc., etc., etc. So take your pick, do all of them, do one of them, do whatever works for you, really. Okay, so G2Alex says, what would be a shot pattern for communicating comedy? The setup of the joke, expectation, and then reality. Comedy is a little bit harder just because it depends on the joke. If a joke is a little bit wordier, then obviously you're going to need to show the character or maybe the reaction shot. I wish I could show you examples right now of, you know, a joke playing. For instance, let's talk about Jurassic Park again, right? There's that scene in Jurassic Park where the lines are like that. Dr. Grant is here. He goes to reach for the wires. Right, and then we already established where the characters are. This is Tim and then Lexi. Right, they're watching him. He grabs it and he goes, ah, and gets shocked. Do you guys remember the scene? Do you guys know the scene that I'm talking about? I actually did this to someone in my figure drawing class, and it was great. Ah. Right, he's like, "Oh, I'm getting shocked." The kids scream, and then it cuts back to him, and electricity ain't no joke. Yeah, tell me it's not a joke. Although it's good for jokes, but it's not a joke. Don't mess around with the electricity. Like, ah, ah. But it'll shock people. It'll shock people. Ah, they start screaming. Ah, ah. And then this is when, then the last shot, and this is kind of like part of the comedy thing. It goes to the kids' POV, right? And that's kind of like how the joke plays, because we are now looking at it from the kid's point of view, and it makes it funny. As the audience member, we're like, that's a funny joke. We got it led up to it in a typical, like, normal manner. Like, oh, if he were actually to touch it, this is kind of like what we would see. And then we get the reaction. And this last shot, actually sells it even better, because we get to see it through the kids' eyeballs when it's revealed it's just a joke. So this is like how you can, this is just like one example of how comedy is set up through visual storytelling as well. Like I said, based upon the joke and how jokes are told, like if it's like a knock-knock joke, this doesn't really work, right? Like a knock-knock joke would have maybe like 1 or 2 panels of me talking, but the third panel would be of your reaction or the audience reaction, like ugh, like groaning. So it depends on the joke, and to choose the shots, you kind of have to just watch films. You have to see what are normal conventions. Knock-knock jokes work because we understand the format, right? It's like knock-knock, who's there? Orange. Orange who? Knock-knock, who's there, right? Like there's a format to the joke that we all understand. The orange joke works because we're playing off of that format. In the same way that the orange joke works, where you're like, orange, orange who, banana, yada yada. This works the same way because we think it's a normal sequence of events, but then it's a joke, and then we get a reaction. So this is not the best example for how to use storyboards to tell a joke, but understand that telling a joke is a combination of both visual and writing, right? It's understanding both. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, I wish we could have just had I could have just showed you the scene, but that did not happen that way. So let's take a look at Mindy's storyboards. You guys having a good time? You guys thought about your 2020 New Year's resolutions? Oh my god, where did that go? Oh, there it is. Google Chrome. Alright, let's take a look. So this is Mindy's storyboards, Wild Goose Chase. Comes in. Oh, this was the one. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit. So it comes in, comes up, runs off screen. Nice. Work, 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 work. Pound up. Whip pan over. Jumps. Runs away. Did I miss something? Oh. Gets scared. Runs away. Dives for it. Misses. Runs up. Run. Something else comes in. They're going for it. Nice. Lands in. Goes off. Jumps up. Looks up. This is POV. Jumps. I think he kicks towards camera. Rolls. Got it. Shoots it. Falls. Grabs it. Flies up. Haha, got it. We snap truck out to the red guy ninja. Boink, boink, boink. Pulls out something. Throws it. Turns to a net. Catch it. Boink. Yes. They all throw it in. Boink, boink, boink. Yay. And that's the end of it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I remember the storyboard from when Eugene was on the stream, and I love the notes that you've incorporated into it. So yeah, this is a improvement from last time. I like this truck out with the character running in. I think it would make more sense if the character... So let me get this. Right. We'll talk about shot. We'll try to keep things in context with like shot flow and shot choice. Overall, I think you have a good sense of like how it's working already. I think you have a lot of connecting tissue between shots, so that's good. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. In this instance, if the guy is moving this way, right, the little bouncy green guy, and goes off over here, is going left to right, like that. Just have him go off screen here, and then have this guy give it like a panel, right? Now it's off screen. Have this guy stand up. Right, stands up like you have it. But instead of having him go off this way like you show in your storyboards, he goes off, in your storyboards, their character goes off to the left. Have him follow the character to the right instead. Because I think it's a little bit confusing with him going in the opposite direction of him catching the blob. He should be moving in the same direction if he's chasing it. You should go off that way. Right, if you're chasing something, you're going to be following it in the same direction it's moving. So that's just something to keep in mind. Comes up, steps on it. I think you will want to have a reaction from this. I know when he kind of like does the anime thing, just give us a reaction shot. Maybe instead of a whip pan over, he steps on it and then we go back to the other shot. We go back to this shot where it just turns around. Because we, like I talked about earlier, going back to shots or compositions we set before is easy for the audience to follow. So if you just go back to this shot and have it turn around, you won't need the whip pan, and the audience will know exactly who we are following, who we're talking about, etc., etc. Right, so you just go from this, and then the next panel will be turning around. I don't know how that thing works. We'll just not draw it in so it turns red. Right, so we get like the reaction shot here, like that. So just going back to an established shot before. Minmay says reusing shots was a challenge when I was reworking this since chase scenes change locations a lot. Yeah, that is something that happens quite a bit. So that it is tough. I remember this shot. That was good. That's good. This might be a good moment to get some acting if you want, like maybe like, oh damn it, like a start pose, end pose type thing. Because I think that we're close on the character now, and you can kind of get more loving out of the scene for that point. So he looks up, maybe he looks up, and then the next pose is oops. Oop, oop, oop. Kind of tilts his head down a little bit. Bring his hand up like this, right? So you like up. So this is the second pose. Oh. Right, just give him a little more acting, and then he slams it back down afterwards, right? Oops. Come on, work with me. There you go. It's a nice shot to have a little bit of character acting since they're going to be running around a lot. And then he gets up and runs off, right? Or it can be a number of other reactions. I just like that shot because we're close on the character and it makes sense for him to react to something. Right now he's not really reacting to anything. His expression is a little bit neutral, so giving a little bit more poses will help to really sell whatever you want to feel, right? I'm not exactly sure if this is the right expression, but you know, just you only know something is sweet if you've tasted salty. If you've only tasted sweet things your whole life, you'll never know how sweet things are, right? Like if you eat too much candy, then everything else in comparison will be very bland and salty, but you need that salt to make the sweet. So it's always good when you're doing reactions and stuff to have like a start pose, end pose, right? To know where they're coming from. Even if the start pose is like neutral, like, and then the end pose is it makes more sense. Like you see the change in reaction. You see him feel something. It's always about the feeling, right? G2 outside screen direction from Snowpiercer is a great study of using the screen to show the flow of the narrative. Going left is regressing and right is progressing in the movie. Yeah, that's a very good movie to study as well for screen direction. And then it's a well shot movie too. Super well shot. So this is good. Run and run and run. Cool. That's good. I like this. I like how you connect the two shots together where you have one character and then another character come in. That's a good connecting shot, right? This is what we were talking about with Jurassic Park, where you have connecting shots. If you had just cut straight from this person running here, from the blue person running to the yellow person like this, it would be confusing. It'd be like a weird smash cut like we had talked about. But because you have them come through the scene, we know that they're related somehow and the shots make sense. It's like a visual stepping stone, right? And now this makes sense because we truck out from her and we see what she's looking at, right? And then this makes sense, right? All this is connecting well because of that. The one thing I'd say to watch out here is the pink character is on the left side of the screen and the yellow one's on the right. In the next shot, they switch positions. Yeah, the next shot, they switch positions. So I would say watch out for that. Either flip this shot or flip the previous shot, right? Make sure that the pink character is still on the left and the yellow character is still on the right. It also looks like she's moving right to left in this, so she should be moving right to left. This whole chase sequence needs to get flopped in the other direction. And this is a nice cool wipe. I like that. It's a nice wipe. Cool. This is also cutting on action. This is what we're talking about where you cut on action and it's a good usage of it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Reaction. Hey, there you go. Like start pose, end pose. Reaction jumps up. And cool. I also like this too because it's kind of like a fake away because you see it come in like that. And then you expect the red guy to come back in, but it's the green one. It works. It's kind of like a interesting way to to connect shots together by having one character do something and then a different character finish it. Similarly, like when we watched in Jurassic Park, we started with a close-up on Tim, then Tim's POV, and then when we cut back for the reaction, we expected it to be Tim's reaction, but we got Lex, the girl, and the lawyer. That's another way of connecting shots together. So it was really nice. It was well done. Just like this one is. I like it. Chase, chase, chase. Looks up. Jumps, grabs it. I think you might need one more panel right here where he's close. Because he's so far away from here and then it cuts to blue. I think you might just need one other pose. It's making sense to you guys? You guys having a good time? Did you guys have a good Christmas and New Year's? Did you guys do anything exciting? Let's bring this guy a little bit bigger. Right, something like this. Right, you might need just one more shot where we get that he's closer to her or closer to the green thing. Oh, this is a nice color. I like this. Boom, right? So that will make the last shot make more sense if he's like that. And then even though you have a blue panel here like that, that's fine. Just make sure to add in a little bit of detail for what is actually happening. So even if he catches it, even if he fills up the whole frame, right? Even if he fills up the whole frame catching it, at least give us a little bit of information about his body. Right. Draw through it. His head would be down here somewhere, tumbling over. Neck. Butt would be like that. Right, and then maybe the last panel is a blue panel. Does this make sense to everyone? How this works out? That. Just move this over here. Okay. Fill. Right. So maybe you need 2 panels. Maybe you need this one and this one to make it work. And I'll make this shot work next. Perfect. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Hey, I like that again. Nice connecting shot. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Pow. That's cool. Nice. Grabs it. Awesome. That's cool. Cool, cool, cool. You might want to add in the red guy here because I think you're going from shot to shot a little too much, so you want to give him a little bit of spatial relationships. What I mean by just like going from shot to like shot, it just feels like close up, close up, close up, close up. You want to give a little bit of variety, and it also helps you establish, because you don't know how far this character is from this, right? They could be really close or really far away, and so just having the character in the frame with it will help establish it a little bit better. Right here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Come on by. Let's paint some trees. Let me show you a world. So we could have the red character be closer like this, right? Oops. Right, this could be our red character. And it could be that far from from the blob, so we know. Or move this down one more time. We can make the red character over here with the foot like that. You might need to change the framing a little bit, but it could be like a foot over here, so that we know we're a lot closer. Or again, you need to change the framing for that too, but like figure out where this character is in relation to that one makes all the difference. You can even have the red character stand up in frame, right? Have him stand up in frame, or her stand up in frame like this. And then we would know that that thing's a little bit bigger than we expected. We also know that that thing is a little bit further away than we expected, etc., etc. Man, I like drawing with this chunky brush. I love drawing with this chunky brush. It feels so good. Why don't I use it more often, guys? Guys, why didn't you tell me that I have this sweet brush in my palette, right? Why don't you guys let me know? Why were you guys holding out me with the goods? Look at this. This is, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It feels like Hellboy. Getting in the Hellboy spirit again, right? So you can start to see by having this OTS shot, over the shoulder shot, you can see their distance from each other, you can see their size comparison. It'll give you a lot more information as an audience member, and also help establish where they are in space together. So in the next shot, when you actually have the character chasing it, the red guy chasing the blob, you can see how far they have to throw or whatever is right. Comes in. Nice. Just be careful with this shot. This is a very small nitpicky thing. When people are closing their eyes, you just have to be careful. Like at first I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she went blind, but just either thicken up the bottom lid like that, or if they actually have eyebrows, like make the eyebrows thicker and then add in a little bit for like their eyelid, right? Just so we know what's going on right here. One of these needs to be thicker. That's fine. Right. We just need to make sure it's an eyelid. Just give it a little bit differentiation. And yeah, those are my tips. I like that. Sweet. I like the reveal too. Awesome. And then this is what we're talking about, POV of the characters, right? These shots were all motivated by like the POV of the characters. So they're celebrating and then they see something. So we cut to the inside, which is kind of like the POV of the giant blob when they look in. And then boom, it pops out. And this the way it ends up here is kind of like the POV of the red, blue, and yellow characters. And this last shot is the POV of the monster character looking down at them. Oh, I'm scared. So there you have it. Shot flow, shot rhythm. Talking about Jurassic Park, reviewing Min-Maze's storyboards. Does anyone have any questions before we wrap up for tonight? Any questions about Jurassic Park? Any questions about shots that we were talking about? Let me move this up. Yeah, so that's tonight's talk. Shot choice, shot rhythm, shot flow, and considering camera POVs. So if you have any questions, post them up in the chat. I said I was going to cut the video together. I don't know what's going to happen if I actually cut it together. Like if it's going to get like flagged for being copyright material. Because I know on YouTube they do have copyright material of educational stuff, and I wonder if I'll get a strike for that. Hopefully I won't. I'll try to cut it up and just keep it to the parts that are important. But yeah, let's look at the questions. Rosie says, favorite dinosaur. Ooh, favorite dinosaur. It would have to be the Deinonychus or Velociraptor, just because they look so cool. They're just like running super fast and like yeah, I think Jurassic Park definitely did that to me. I was like a huge Velociraptor fan, even though I found out later on that they're not really that size. Oh, Pachycephalosaurus, the one with the giant dome for a head that like smashes into things. They have that in the second and fourth movie, which are great. That's a cool looking dinosaur. I love that one. Ankylosaurus, of course. Some of the sauropods are up there. Oh, the flying ones. There was like a T-Rex that had a head and was small and flied around. That was cool. There's a giant pteranodon the size of a giraffe that flew around. That was cool too. I like that one. Yeah. Those are I have a lot of favorite dinosaurs. Underwater, I would go with like the not the megalodon, but the other one with like really sharp teeth. Shit. Let me just Google it. I want to show you guys this because this is a dope Donald C. Prehistoric fish. It was in Dinotopia. It was in Dinotopia when they go underwater in the submersible. Fuck, what is it called? Shoot. Underwater prehistoric fish. Not coelacanth, not megalodon. Dinotopia? Maybe I'll just type it down. Dunkleosteus, that one. Dunkleosteus. This bad boy. Yeah, this guy. It had like it was like a fish, but had like a bony face and really sharp teeth. So cool. So cool. And it shows up in, yeah, there you go. This is a legit fossil of it. Look at those teeth, man. And look at its eyeballs. It's just, holy shit. You would just get like chomped up. There's a size comparison. Oh, wait. Hey, guys. Let me take that all back again because I'm a dummy. This is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Rosie. Because I'm a dummy. This is the fish I was talking about. The Dunkleosaurus. Let's get a slam jam on. Space Jam. It's a Dunkleosteus. And look at its face. This is like a fossil of it. It was a bony fish that just chomped through things. It just chomped everything. Dunkleosteus. And here's a size comparison. It would just chomp you in half. Just done and done. It's a really cool animal. I think it's dope. This is one of my favorite looking creatures. Just because it has such a unique shape. It almost feels like a concept artist created it. But dope. Looks like a Pokemon. Yeah, good boys. Using a 3D set, is it... G2 Alex says, using a 3D set, is it better to play blast the camera POV or screenshot the set and draw over it? Depends on the show. On Troll Hunters, I just screenshotted the 3D camera moves and then drew over it because that was easier. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. It definitely depends on the show, because if it's a 3D show too, sometimes they're just like, well, just give us the camera move. So, it depends. Swarwolf said, did anyone ever watch those documentaries on like Animal Planet about the Velociraptor or other dinos? I can't remember exactly where it aired, but it was in that animal documentary style, but all CG and follow these particular dinos in their lives. Yeah, I remember watching those. Those were really fun and cool. And it's like, and this is what happens in this situation. And now we follow the dinosaur as it's attracting a mate, and it needs to. It's a tough time because it needs to do the right dance properly, or else it'll be lonely forever and become a incel online. And so you watch the dinosaur do the dance, and it's like, oh, it's really cool. I don't know how the new dinosaurs did that, but that's cool. And then they'll go cut away to like another dinosaur. Like, here we have the Brachiosaur, and it's the mating season, so the two of them are fighting, and they'll often use their heads to like whack each other, and you see them fighting, and it's really cool. I love that. There's also a movie called Dinosaurs, I think DreamWorks made, where you follow a family of dinosaurs. So, and those were fun. Those were really fun. I kind of miss some of that stuff. I guess that's what TV is good for. But if you guys haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that like button, and we'll tell the joke. Joke. Ooh, let's see. Rosie says, do you think you can do a stream about Knives Out sometime? I haven't seen Knives Out, so I need you to see that first. I do like Ryan Johnson. He did Brick, which was my first introduction to him, and I really like that. I'll probably try to stay away from Knives Out just because it's still in theaters, so that would be a big no-no in terms of copyright. But yeah, I do want to do Brick sometime, because Brick is oh my god, I love Brick. Brick is so good. It's a great movie because the writing and the cinematography is good, and the character it's good. It's good. It's good. Watch it. It's so good. Okay, I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I'm not. Nothing to add to that. It's just cool. Because we're talking about the ocean, I'm going to tell you an ocean joke, and this is really bad. But how does the ocean say hello? And most people are going to say, da, 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 da. And the answer is, it doesn't. It just waves. Classic wave joke that everyone told as a kid. Everyone knows it, but you know, you gotta tell it again because maybe someone didn't hear that joke. Maybe someone is the first time listening to me tell a wave joke. So thank you guys for coming out as always. This stream was a little bit more complicated than it needed to be just because of the, you know, the YouTube stuff. As always, I really appreciate that you guys came back for another year of bad jokes and storyboards. The Friday stream before Friends Day night is going to move to Thursday because I think on Friday everyone's busy. So it'll be better if we do it on Thursday. You can all watch it, chill at home. Fridays will be open, more relaxed, but Thursday we'll do the Friday stream is moving to Thursday because I think more people will be available than on Friday, is what I'm saying. It'll probably start earlier. It'll probably be from 8 to 10. And it won't be necessarily about animation, but I'll ask my animation buddies to come over and we'll just hang out. So if you're interested in watching that, same place, same time, youtube.com, see dwooman_art. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. Big thumbs up energy. Thank you guys. If you have storyboards, upload them next week, and I'll see you then. Take care.